artificially created famine in Ukraine by the Soviet government claimed the lives of from 4 to 10 million people, historians still do not know the exact number of victims. If during 1932 hundreds of thousands were killed by starvation, then in 1933 the number was in the millions. It was difficult to suppress the resistance of Ukrainians to Soviet power by force. Then the party realized that hungry people would not be able to fight.
The idea of killing by starvation, or starvation as a method of pacifying Ukraine, this idea, I believe, arose during 1921-1923, when the drought, which started first in the Volga region and then in the south of Ukraine, acquired threatening proportions. But for Moscow, as a metropolis, it was more important to save its own subjects and not the people who resisted them. And that's why they shoveled and exported the grain and forbade talking about the famine in Ukraine. They were exporting bread in 1921 to feed their own people. Then they saw that hungry people were not capable of resistance.
Stalin personally oversaw the killing of Ukrainians by starvation. In 1932, in a letter to Lazar Kaganovich, a member of the Bolshevik Politburo, he wrote, I quote, that the most important thing now is Ukraine. After all, even at the local level, representatives of the Communist Party spoke out against the grain procurement plan, recognized it as unrealistic. This did not stop the leadership of the USSR. Grain and other agricultural products were taken away from village residents, and the bloodiest famine in history was the so-called low 5 spikelets. Even taking a few ears of corn or potatoes in the field left after the harvest were considered a crime. The punishment was dozens of years in prison and sometimes execution. Residents of Ukrainian villages were forced to eat straw, rotten watermelons and beets, and acacia pods in order not to die of hunger.
Лобода, отака лобода, кропива, оберемок нарвеш на стекла, на укріп кинула, закупила та їмо. А я пережила, братик вижив один, і я, а один маленький помер. Мамочко, я хочу хлібчика, мамочко, я їсточки хочу. А де візьмеш, як нема?
25 countries, in particular the USA, Canada, Georgia, Vatican, Czech Republic, Poland, Mexico, Latvia, recognized the Holodomor of 1932-1933 as genocide of the Ukrainian people. Some of them implemented the relevant documents after the start of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine.
It was the full-scale military Russian aggression and, in fact, the genocidal nature of this aggression that forced them to rethink the events of the past as well, forced to take a different look at what was happening back then in the 20th century. The other day, US Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, directly compared Putin with Stalin, who committed the crime of genocide, the Holodomor. This was said quite clearly and directly from the international platform, and this indicates that this is an understanding of the parallels and the understanding that in fact Russia has returned to this policy, which was pursued by the Stalinist regime in the 20th century. This is a fact.
Attacks on the port infrastructure of Ukraine, the theft of agricultural products from temporarily occupied territories, sabotage or work of the grain corridor are proof that the Kremlin dictator follows the policies of Joseph Stalin.
Hunger is used as a weapon in many ways today. We see how Ukrainian grain is exported from the temporarily occupied territories and sold. We see how hundreds of thousands of tons of Ukrainian grain and our infrastructure are absolutely mercilessly destroyed. Thus, our farmers cannot not only sell this grain, but these are the losses that will not allow farmers to sow next year.
International and Ukrainian human rights activists are already collecting evidence that Vladimir Putin used hunger as a weapon against Ukraine. According to the procedure, the documents will be transferred to the International Criminal Court, which could lead to new charges against Putin, in addition to the illegal deportation of Ukrainian children.
90 years ago, Stalin and his henchmen committed genocide of the Ukrainian people. Today, Putin's Russia, a descendant of that communist regime, also dreams of the elimination of Ukrainians in Ukraine. Therefore, we must win for the sake of the memory of our ancestors, for the sake of a free Ukraine today and a happy independent European future for the next generations of Ukrainians.
Putin's Russia does not recognize the Holodomor of 1932-1933 as a genocidal act. Moreover, it is trying to erase the memory of the tragedy of the Ukrainian people. In only one district of the Kherson region alone, representatives of the occupation administrations destroyed 14 monuments to the victims of the Holodomor in Ukraine. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.